I think this is something that still requires development. I think as an academic community, we have a pretty good handle on metasurfaces as a device. And I think in industry, AMAT is having a better handle on how to actually manufacture these at scale. But aside from the fabrication challenges that I just mentioned, how do you actually start integrating and utilizing metaservices to produce really new systems? And I think that's where startup companies can have the biggest role.
I think startups in many ways will be the lifeblood of translation. There's been roughly a decade's worth of work, both in my lab and in many of the speakers' lab at the workshop, that has laid the foundation for, kind of the science and engineering of metasurfaces and the fascinating optical transformations that can be enabled by metasurfaces. And at this point, kind of given the maturity of the technology, I think for this to be a solution that translates in the world, it's really important for a startup to bring that technology forward. Of course, many of the technologies that we heard presented are, patented or licensed. But I think a startup company is kind of uniquely positioned to say, license those patents from a university and then enable the maturation of the technology towards a commercial application.
I think startup companies have this unique opportunity to explore new application fields and try and perfect them and find those applications where flat optics can make a decisive difference. Since we are very much focused on the manufacturing and perfecting the manufacturing of those metasurfaces, we can work with startup companies to realize their designs and to work together to make those new applications a reality, also in larger scale.
Startups, there's a lot you can do with very limited resources to advance this field. And then, of course, the larger companies, I think, Applied, for example, with its fabrication tools and expertise, will bring resources to bear that smaller companies cannot. So I think in the design and the demonstration phases, yes, smaller companies, universities, they're probably going to be leading the way. The more immature the technology is, just keep it in the lab. Keep working at it and be patient. And get it as perfect as possible. And when you think it's really ready to go, that's when you should go out with it. But again, you have to be very cognizant of what the markets are, and you have to be willing to adapt.
If I was a grad student today, I'd be looking to starting some kind of flat optics company or embedding flat optics inside the something I'm already thinking about or building. It allows you to develop functionality impossible to generate with the standard optics, and they just have such unique characteristics that you could be incredibly creative with the material in a way you never could before. And the amount of capital available to any new innovative startup is just unheard of in the history of entrepreneurship and innovation. And so now's the time, and now's your hour. Go grab it.